I feel like I've cursed myself or something. There's like legitimately no excuse for this month. This month just got way out of hand. I feel like I get like a week in and like, awesome, I've only bought like 2 books. And then I like congratulate myself and like reward myself by going off the deep end and buying an unnecessary amount of books. Hey everyone, my name is Sam and thanks for checking out this video. Make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the notification bell, and give the video a thumbs up for moral support, man. Oh my god, this was a bad month. In kind of defense, I didn't buy all of these. Some of them were like gifts for like my birthday coming up. Some of them were like points I used, you know, reward points. Some of them I had bought like several months ago and pre-ordered. And a good chunk of them were from Book Outlet, so I didn't pay full price. But, okay, I'm going to be real with you. I may have miscounted, but I counted 63. Like books. Like, I accumulated over 60 books in like 30 days. We did a video for March. And you just need to make sure everyone is fully understanding of how messed up my brain is. I accumulated basically over like 2-point-something books for every day that existed in April. So for pretty obvious reasons, I can't really go into detail about most of them, but if there's an interesting story or tidbit, or I haven't heard or seen about this before, then, you know, I'll mention it. Oh, and another kind of defense. Some of them are ARC, so I did get those for free, but there's really no excuse. I don't know what to do with myself this month. So, firstly, I picked up The Girl in the Blue Coat by Monica Hess. I heard about this in a Dewey Diva session, and I picked it off of a Book Outlet, so you may be able to snag one if it's of interest to you, and it's got a pretty cool color. It gives me very Schindler's Listy vibes. I finally picked up my own copy of A Natural History of Dragons by Marie Brennan. I rented this from the library and I just never got around to reading it. I'm a very mood person reader, especially when it comes to dragons. So I've got it now, and whenever if I decide I like it, then I can buy the rest of them because they tend to be in and out of stock on Book Outlet, also Book Outlet haul. So if you want to, go look on Book Outlet. I also picked up a middle grade, The Star Thief by Litsy Becker. Pretty cool cover. Don't remember anything of it. My friend Melanie sent me the link to it. I said cool. She enabled me to place that Book Outlet order. If you want it, it was on Book Outlet as of like 2 weeks ago. I picked up Mortal Coil by Emily Savada. I'm very unsure of this because I've seen a lot of people say that they don't like it, or DNF'd it really. So I'm very curious about it, but the cover is just so cool I couldn't pass it up. And once again, on Book Outlet, so if you want it, go check out Book Outlet. I also picked up my own copy of An Alchemy of Masks and Mirrors by Curtis Craddock. I actually read this quite a few months ago and I really, really enjoyed it. I plan on continuing the series. I borrowed it from the library and returned it. And I don't love the cover, but I really, really liked this book series, and apparently my friend Meg hates me because I don't like the cover and she loves the cover, so I think it's just a total taste thing. But I'm keeping my eye out for the sequel of this one. I also got a hardback copy of Tower and Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. Also, Walmart. I got this off of Book Outlet, but Walmart can go straight to hell. That is a sticker from Walmart that I have spent several minutes trying to peel off. Don't put unpeelable stickers on your damn books. That is 101. How do you own a bajillion-dollar company and not know that? Infuriating. But I have the mass market Australian cover, and it honestly just, every time I reorganize my bookshelves, it sits in the middle of everything. It just is a weird shape, and it didn't fit. So I liked it, and I got the hardcover to match the rest of my series now. I also just got my copy of The Smoke Thieves by Sally Green. It just came, and it actually, I don't even think it's out yet technically as I'm filming this, but it's nice, pretty. It's the start of, I believe, a new series. The back's tag is Revenge, Romance, Power, Money, and Magic. What are you fighting for? And I've read the half bad, at least, so far, the first book in that trilogy, and I didn't love the necessary plot, but I was cool with the writing. So I'm pretty excited for this, and I will get back to the half bad series eventually. I also picked up Poison Kiss by Brianna Shields off of Book Outlet this month, so if you want it, check Book Outlet. And it's a woman her lips can poison people, and then she's used as an assassin, and then she's told that she has to kill someone that she actually cares about. Also picked up this month on Book Outlet was A Crown of Wishes by Roshani Chokshi. This has been on Book Outlet for like over a year now, I think. The stock pretty continuously always has some, so if you want it, go for there. It is a sequel to A Star Touched Queen that I have not read yet, but I plan on reading it soon, and I'm going to read them back to back. I also, on Book Outlet, picked up a copy of Between Two Fires by Mark Noce. This is a historical adult fiction that I was recommended by someone in the Owl Crate Society, set in Wales, and I'm pretty excited about it. I also got a copy of the UK hardcover of Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow, and I love the cover. It's also under the dust jacket, got all these cool designs, and I'm eagerly awaiting the sequel, the second book, to get a date and a cover and come out. I very happily managed to buy Ace of Shades. I was planning on buying this one by Amanda Foody. It is the first in what is going to be a trilogy. I read the arc, loved it, and my friend Amanda, not this Amanda, actually got extra pre-order swag, so I have it signed with a book plate now. Then, for some reason, I've seen these covers nonstop, but I heard the stories like meh, but I wanted them. So I bought the box set. Hardcover box sets are also really rare, of Robert Beatty's The Serafina series. Mind you, I've heard some people really, really like it, but I heard some people were like, I was just underwhelmed. No one said it was bad. So I'm really excited actually to give these a go, but the covers are just like hella pretty. I also picked up, this was like an intentional buy, Orphan Monster Spy by Matt Killiner. It's a World War II historical YA fiction, and I am so interested. My friend Melanie is actually reading it right now, and I'm excited for this one. Super excited. I'm trash for historical World War II. I also picked up my own copy of Rejected Princesses by Jason Porath. Heroines, Helians, and oh my god, and Heretics. Oh my god. I know there's actually a sequel coming out. I found out the other day. I saw the arc or an advanced finished copy at a conference I was at, and it looks really cool. But it's kind of like the 50 Women Who Pioneered kind of thing, of a little blurb and like pictures, and yeah. I also picked up a couple special cooking books this month. The Thug Kitchen series. They're like super popular, partially because they're swearing, but it's vegan food. I'm not vegan, but it's got some pretty cool recipes in there. So there's the regular Thug Kitchen, the Party Grub, and the Thug Kitchen fast foods and that kind of stuff. And I like them because they have like a part of the book that says like essentials that you will need for this kind of book and the recipes in it, which I really, really appreciate. Because it got voted one of the top like 25 nominees for Best Book, YA Book of the Year by the American Library Association, I picked up Rosemarked by Olivia Blackburn. I know nothing of it. I think it's like some girl is allergic to roses or something. I don't know. I remember reading the summary and being like, that sounds cool. So I picked it up and hope to get to it this summer because of the roses. I impulse bought Blood of a Thousand Stars by Rhoda Beliza. I read the first book, Empress of a Thousand Skies, and honestly really enjoyed it. So I'm going to reread Empress of a Thousand Skies because it's been like over a year, probably like 15 months or so. So I'm going to reread that one before I read this one, but super excited actually about this. I, for my birthday, ordered To Kill a Kingdom, put a big order in on Indigo, and this was in it, by Alexandra Crisco. I've heard nothing but fantastic things about it, so I'm really excited to finally get to this one. I'm hoping, just because like the water in the summer, to get to it in June. I also picked up Ice Wolves by Amy Kaufman. This was a planned purchase. It's a middle grade. Amy Kaufman's actually first standalone like story by herself. It's the first in the Elemental series, and there's 2 orphans with magical powers. I also picked up Allied, which is the 3rd and final book in the Ruined trilogy. I absolutely love Ruined and Avenged, so I'm really curious to see how this series ends. I also picked up a copy of Hello Universe by Erin Estrada Kelly off of Book Outlet this month, so if you want to check Book Outlet. This actually won the Newbery Medal a month or 2 ago, and so I'm really curious about this middle grade friendship kind of adventure stuff. I also picked up a sampler at a conference that I had, The Assassination of Brangwain Spurge by M.T. Anderson and Eugene Yelkin. I know that there's illustrations in here, and the illustrations I think are like a different storyline than the actual words. It looked really cool. I saw an advanced finished copy, and so I'm really, really curious to read this sampler. Oh, sorry, it's being officially published in September. I also picked up an arc of Mapping the Bones by Jane Yolen. This has been released, and I picked this up after, but I'm really curious about this. It's another World War II historical Holocaust fiction, and I believe it's YA, and I'm really, really curious about this. I had tons of people send me the link when they saw it, and were like, this sounds like a book for you. So I'm hoping to read this soon. I also picked up an arc of The Radical Elements, edited by Jessica Spotswood. This came out quite a few months ago, but they had an extra spare arc, and I hadn't picked up a finished copy yet. So I have this, and hopefully I will enjoy it and want to pick up a finished copy. I finally picked up an arc for Tempest of the Slaughter. I walked past this one quite a few times at a conference I was at in January, just because I had no more room in my suitcase. I wasn't sure if I was going to understand this because I have only read one of Tamora Pierce's other books, but I figured there was no harm in me picking up at this conference because I had the space. So I've got this, and hopefully I will enjoy it and be able to buy a finished copy, because the finished copy is stunning even more than the arc. I fought someone. No, I didn't actually fight someone. I picked up an arc of The Bird and the Blade by Megan Bannon. I have this as an e-arc, but I'm not currently actually able to read any e-arcs because of my eye problems. So I was so excited when I saw a finished copy or a physical arc of this and grabbed it as soon as I could. It's set to come out in June 5th or something like that, I think. I literally actually elbowed someone out of the way, not on purpose, just because I was like, oh my god, book! But I picked up a physical arc of These Rebel Waves. I've given up. I'm not going to win on the newsletter draw that she's doing. I mean, unfortunately it's not signed, but it's the physical arc nonetheless of These Rebel Waves. There's pirates. It's pirates. It's pirates. I'm so excited about the pirates, and I love Sarah Rash. I loved Snow Like Ashes. So excited for this book. Comes out in September or October. I also very happily partially picked this up just to brag to my friends who are obsessed with the author. Managed to pick up a full size, not the sampler, of Lifelike, the Arc by Jay Kristoff. I'm so excited, and they actually blurbed this in one of the sessions I was in. So I was so excited about that, and then I saw this and kind of pushed them out of the way to get it. I have no shame. It was a book and free. This was just a free copy lying around. Fools and Mortals by Brendan Cornwell. It's a finished copy, but I have a feeling it was like a misprint on the cover because it says the #1 bestseller. I've never actually seen that before. I'm assuming that's why they were giving them away to free. But I'm going to read this and then I'm going to pass it along to my library. But I've actually never read anything by this author, which is why I'm kind of curious. And it sounds like the first in a series. Every time I look for something, it always seems to be the third or something like that in one of his series or something. Or it's super expensive. So I'm going to give this a go. Hopefully this summer. I tend to read historical fictions a lot in the summer too. Actually, my current reading arc is My Name is Victoria by Lucy Worsley. This is a story about the Kensington system and from the perspective of Cornwallis's, I think. Queen Victoria is like head of mother's kind of guy that runs the household. It's his daughter, who's also named Victoria, who's kind of like a maiden for her and kind of supposed to be a friend for her, and it's all about that. So I'm actually really excited about this, and this comes out in May 2018. I also had an e-arc of this, but once again, Screen couldn't read the e-arc, so I was really happy when I saw this. Then I managed to snag an arc of a book that came out in January called Mez's Magic, The Lost Rainforest by Elliot Schreffer. It is a middle grade where the tagline is Wings of Fire meets The Lion King. Cool. I want to read it, and I'm hoping to get to it soon. Who doesn't like The Lion King? Ah, Sabanya. Who knows the words to that? That's the bigger question. I also picked up an arc for The Lifters by Dave Eggers. This is a middle grade about a town that is dying because the one industry that it was created around has been dying and they haven't really diversified, and the town is physically and, you know, metaphorically for it, holes are falling through it, it's sinkholing and kind of disappearing. I also, as a part of Birthday Gift to Myself, picked up the German edition of Nevermore Trials of Morgan Crow. Do I speak German? No. Do I have eyes, though? Yes, and it's a pretty cover, and I'm freaking in love with this story, and maybe it'll make me learn German. Maybe. Maybe. You never know. That's the justification I'm going to use for buying this. I picked up a finished copy of Sky in the Deep by Adrienne Young. I had a chance to read the e-arc a couple months ago and pretty thoroughly enjoyed this book, so I'm really excited to read the finished copy whenever I do get around to it and see what changes made, if there were any changes made, and keep an eye on this author. I impulse bought Devils Unto Dust by Emma Berquist. I had never heard of this before. It was posted in the Today's Released album that they do in the TBR and Beyond book group, and saw the cover, fell in love, and it's like a Western setting where dystopian future where a girl's like mother has disappeared and her father has an alcohol problem and then steals money from like a local fortune, like a family's fortune, and so then she's on the hook for it. And I'm so excited to read this just because of like the setting. I think I'm probably gonna read it in the summer and like July-ish. In this month's Shelf Love Crate box, I picked up Ash Princess by Laura Sebastian. I actually had access to the e-arc and just never got to it before it came out. I read a couple pages and just wasn't in the mood for that specific kind of book. So I'm really excited to actually give this a read, and I have quite a few friends who are like kind of in love with it. So hopefully I enjoy it too. And because it was in Shelf Love Crate, it came with a signed book plate. I still don't think I've actually read the summary for this book. I pre-ordered it, Beyond a Darkened Shore by Jessica Leek. It has come up everywhere I've looked for different reasons, so I just figured it's probably a good fit. I picked up a finished copy of Winter Glass by Lexa Hillier. This is the sequel to Spindlefire, which is a Sleeping Beauty retelling, and it came with my pre-order swag. It came with a book plate and some really cool character cards too. I purposely bought, because I've been waiting for this, the paperback copy of Tyrant's Throne by Sebastian de Castell, the fourth and I think final book in the Great Coat series, and I actually haven't even read book 2 yet, but I just love his series and his writing, so I'm really excited. But like Monty Python kind of comedy with knights and redemption. I was gifted for my birthday a copy of In the Shadows of Blackbirds by Kat Winters. It is set during the, the influenza epidemic in 1918 with Mary Shelley, and thank you to my friend Melanie for gifting it to me, and hopefully I can get to this next fall. It's definitely darker, creepier tones, so I'm thinking towards Halloween. I also was so excited when I saw this, The Call of the Rift Flight, Book 1 by Jay Waller. It is a white author, however, she wrote the story. It's all about Indigenous theology and stories and legends and their perspectives, and it's got a lot of like colonial invader plots and all that kind of stuff. When I saw that, I remember seeing it like months ago as like a watch out for this book. I totally forgot about it, and then I saw it in the Indigo and freaked out, and I realized that it was actually being carried in major bookstores, and grabbed it, and I'm really excited. I'm hoping to get this one. I'm hoping to get to this one in June at the very latest. I picked up the box set from Book Outlet. This is always kind of in and out in stock on there. Of the Heroes of Olympus. I picked up the hardcover of the Mark of Athena over a year ago, and I've been watching the site for the hardcovers of the other ones, and they just don't appear. I can see every once in a while a Mark of Athena hardcover pop up, and that's it. So I gave up. So by the time, it was during a sales too on Book Outlet, so by the time it ended up saving me money just to buy the box set, and they're all in the same format now, which, yay! And I'm finally going to keep reading Rick Riordan. I picked up a copy of Ivy Aberdeen's Letter to the World by Ashley Herring Blake. I originally borrowed this from the library, but it was so good, and it tore at my heart, and it made me cry. It's one of the best middle grade books I think I've ever read, and the cover is so cool. So I went and bought my own copy and returned the library copy to pass on the love to someone else. And it is an LGBTQ middle grade where a girl's life is turned upside down when her house is destroyed by a tornado, and the diary that she normally writes and draws in to express a lot of the stuff that she doesn't know how to verbalize is taken during this event, and she's looking for it and exploring herself and, you know, having a hard time fitting in. I was also gifted the book East by Edith Patu by my friend Melanie again. I've never heard of it or seen the cover, but it's quite popular, she was saying, and I put it on a group and everyone seemed to know what it was, but I think it's just because of when it was published. I was about like 9 or 10 years old. But the sequel, after all this time, is apparently being published soon. So I'm really curious, and apparently I got one of the new covers on it, which is always cool. But yeah, super curious because of like the setting. I think I'm going to probably read it closer to winter, but I'm pretty curious about this one. I also picked up a paperback copy of The Last of August by Brittany Cavallaro. This is the second book in the Sherlock Holmes. I believe it's going to be a trilogy. I have the first one, loved the first one, borrowed this through the library and really, really enjoyed it. So I wanted the paperback copy, and now it's finally out. And so I picked it up, and I'm just going to be waiting on the second book. No, I'm going to be waiting on the third book to come out in paperback. I picked up the UK cover. My friend bought it for me because I bought her candy, of The Wicked Deep by Shay Earnshaw. I don't think the camera does it justice. It's a paperback, but all of these are like shiny, so when you move them, it looks like the reflection of the water. I love this book. It's like hocus pocus kind of and with contemporary mystery, kind of a murder mystery, and I love it. And so I have a physical arc with the US cover, I have the US cover, and then I have the UK cover, and I'm excited. It's being adapted into a television or something by Netflix. I got the UK cover of How to Hang a Witch by Adriana Mather. I'm really excited. I like this cover way more than the US cover, and I'm not sure when I'm going to get to this one. I'm thinking from the cover and just the general plot of it being about like Salem and everything, of probably doing it closer to the fall. I picked up my first Shannon Hale book of 1,000 Days. This was mentioned, I think, on Haley and Bookland, and then I saw it on Book Outlet, and my friend was like, oh my god, you have to read it. How have you never read her before? So I'm gonna read it soon. I also picked up Breadcrumbs by Anne Ursu. This is the Snow Queen, Hans Christian Andersen retelling set in modern day America. I very eagerly picked up See You in the Cosmos by Jack Chang once I read the summary. It's a middle grade contemporary about a boy's dog and him learning about like space and everything like that. My copy of Arusha and the End of Time by Roshani Chofsky showed up a couple days after because I pre-ordered it. This is the book of the month in the TBR and Beyond book group, so I'm going to be reading it actually in May, and I'm really excited about that. Indian Mythology, Rick Riordan presents imprint. I also picked up a copy of Crazy Rich Asians, as well as the sequel China Rich Girlfriend by Kevin Kwan, just assuming I'm going to love them. It's contemporary romance with some comedy. Oh my god, we're almost done, I promise. I also picked up an ARC at the Conference for Onyx and Ivory by Mindy Arnett. Once again, I had the e-ARC approval, but I just can't read e-ARCs right now, and it comes out in May, so I'm hoping to very frantically read it before my pre-order copy shows up. But nonetheless, I'm just really excited about that. I freaked when I saw it and snagged it as soon as, just lunged for it, and I'm so excited about that. Fantasy YA. And last but not least, I picked up a copy of Shadow Weaver by Marcy K. Connolly. I had never actually seen this in a bookstore anytime I went to look, so I finally grabbed it when I was in in Chapters in Edmonton. Middle grade, and look at that cover. I legitimately need to start a support group for all those of us with book buying addictions. I don't, for the life of me, think I will ever be willing to link 60 books in the description down below. So, I mean, most of these are probably in my Goodreads I want to read shelf. So if you want to check it out, my link to social media is down below, including my Goodreads. And feel free to follow me on Instagram and Litsy and Pinterest and all this stuff. If you follow me, I will follow you.